This is He Knows Everything, bringing you that heat and far. We keeping the foot on the what? The Higgs. We keeping the foot on the what? The Higgs. And like the breaded mass shift that I am, I'm applying what? On immediate pressure. Because pressure does what? Heat versus pipes. And forget about you basketball heads. That's why I'm giving you guys a treat today. Y'all getting 3 fucking videos, and then I'm going to run the regular basketball videos back again, dog. Michael Jordan. In the eyes of this Hispanic guy, his name is not coming to me fucking right now, but it's in the, basically, it's in the subject line and it's in the description area. It's everywhere we want to know. He interviewed Michael Jordan, and in his mind, he was just like, when he met Michael Jordan, he had chills. I won't have fucking chills. This is a guy that, you know, is starstruck. I don't get starstruck. I would be right there being chummy with Michael Jordan and just, you know, shooting the breeze, laughing about, you know, basically trading off my alpha male lineage with his alpha male lineage. That's the way the conversation would be. It would be more like the way Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant is. You know, beta males, they get starstruck. They get basically like, you know, they've seen a ghost or something like that. I don't do shit like that, man. You take a shit just like me, we're in the same fucking boat. You come into this world and you can leave this world just like me, we're in the same boat. You know, dust you are and dust you will return, man. We're in the same boat. God is no respecter of persons, so I will never bow down in terms of the way this guy did, in terms of being starstruck. That's just not going to happen. It spoke volumes of how he is, but I'm not going to basically shide him for it. It's just everybody's not cut the same cloth. Everybody's not cut the same way. Everyone doesn't have the same alpha male lineage mindset. Everyone's not a walking around Michael Jordan, or walking around Kobe Bryant, or walking around He Knows Everything. Everyone is not these types of individuals. So we get it in its most cold-hearted. We get it in its most unadulterated, and we get it in its most cutthroat, true-teller fashion. But we have to ask ourselves a delineation, a distinction, a gulf, and a separation. And what is that? That Michael Jordan, what he talked about, which was the meat and potatoes of his conversation that I like, is Michael Jordan was a guy that always competed. What does that remind you of? And it reminds you of He Knows Everything. Always competing, always having that edge, always having that log on the fire, always being burned by motivation, being burnt up by motivation, always psyching your mind out to greatness personification can only be hindered. The motherfucker can't be stopped. The greatest individuals, this is what they do. Albert Einstein did this. Jesus Christ was doing this with himself and the Godhead bodily. You do this, man, to unction greatness personification. Because greatness personification can only be hindered. The motherfucker can't be stopped. Kobe Bryant's done this. When he was around, when he was alive, he was doing it. God rest his soul. Tom Brady does this. Tiger Woods does this on the golf course, man. You gotta psych your mind out. The weirdest individuals, He Knows Everything, I already told you guys this in another video. The weirdest individuals are the most genius, man. When people say that you are weird, that is the greatest compliment you can accept in life. Because it speaks to your genius. You know what I mean? People say He Knows Everything is so weird. It's because He Knows Everything is a genius. Weird to people, when they call the author of the weird, is just basically them saying you're a genius that I don't fucking understand. What I said was so deep and profound. Let me let that marinate in the corpus callosum and in the cerebellum. So hear me fucking well. When someone says your weird is a weird that I don't understand, your weird is a weird that I don't get, it's basically them basically saying it's a genius that they don't fucking understand, because they can't get your genius. They don't understand what it takes to unction your level of genius. They don't understand that your level of genius is greatness personification, can only be hindered. The motherfucker can't be stopped. That you're always accessing greatness personification. Greatness personification is a world in of itself. You're always accessing that world. Geniuses do this all the time. Michael Jackson, when he was on the earth, he did this all the time. He was basically a tireless work ethic freak of nature, man. Prince, the way he was in his music, the same way. DMX, when he was on his shit, I mean, I can go on and on and on. Jay-Z, Nas. You got a lot of guys out here that unction greatness personification can only be hindered. The motherfucker can't be stopped. Justin Timberlake. I can name it. Usher. I can name it. I can go on and name it, man. These guys were basically perfectionists, dog. Their craft, they basically went and accessed greatness personification can only be hindered. The motherfucker can't be stopped. This is what Jordan was all about. Accessing greatness. And constantly accessing greatness so that he could basically hit a new plateau of greatness. Because that's what it's all about when you're at the level of greatness. It's always about accessing another level of fucking greatness. Guys that are Godzilla, true alpha extraordinaires governed by true alpha economics level, they understand this. Even the King Kong ones too. The King Kong true alpha extraordinaires governed by true alpha economics, they're a tier below, but they get it too. Because King Kong ain't no slouch. King Kong knows how to continuously access. It just happens for King Kong level at a slower pace than a Godzilla level, but it happens nevertheless. They know how to keep tapping into greatness, not greatness mimication like LeBron James. When you sit here and you look at Michael Jeffrey Jordan and what Michael Jeffrey Jordan has brought to the table, it speaks volumes of absolution and resolution. So I could understand why this guy reacted the way he did, but I can't sympathize with it. I can't empathize with it because I wouldn't react that way. Because that's how people react when he knows everything. It's greatness personification. It's an intimidation. People know when they're in the building where he knows everything, they gotta lift their level of play up. They gotta lift their style up. They have to lift the gamut because they know who's in the fucking building. This is how you know you're the Renaissance true alpha extraordinaire governed by true alpha economics. Everyone knows what time it is. Go look at me on a b-ball live, a boxing live, you name it. Everyone that was involved, no matter what live it was, if I was there, if He Knows Everything was there, formerly known as He Knows the Sport, you had to lift your level of play up to match up. Because greatness personification, not greatness mimication, demands that. This is what Michael Jordan demanded. Because he was a competitor extraordinaire. When you look up the NBA 50 greatest book of all time, you see Michael Jordan as a guy that was penned as a competitor at the highest levels. You guys want to know why? Because Michael Jordan was constantly accessing greatness. Even if it was make-believe greatness in his mind, he accessed it. It was that log on the fire, it was that wood. He talked about it in his retirement speech. And he talked about it in the NBA Hall of Fame speech. That he constantly psyched himself out. Because he always wanted to access a new level of greatness personification. This kind of talk is basically allergic to a Lefraud James. A Lefraud James don't understand this conversation. Because what he understands is lagoon reffing. What he understands is being bought and fucking paid for. What he understands is Mickey Mouse. Fraudulent fluky. On the spot. Least path of resistance. Infinite Sukuyumi. NBA pickup fucking game. He doesn't understand real NBA titles. He doesn't understand real NBA heavyweight lifting. He doesn't understand the real version of the NBA playoffs where legends are fucking made. NBA finals where pantheon of greatness is denoted. This is allergic, or let's contextualize it, allergic to a Lefraud James. But Michael Jordan, this is what he's always been about. And this is what he continues to be about. Because when you're a competitor at the highest levels, like the NBA 50 book says that Michael Jordan was the ultimate competitor, it's because you're always competing and you're always trying to outdo yourself. There's nothing wrong with always trying to outdo yourself. You know why? Because it's called progression. It's called self-improvement. It's called financial literacy. These are all of the markers. When you look at Michael Jeffrey Jordan, you can check off all of these markers because Michael Jeffrey Jordan exemplified these things. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the gun fashion. I keeps the foot on the whoop. Higgs. In this instance, Michael Jordan kept the foot on ultimate competition's neck. This is He Knows Everything. Check it out.